I was born to a single mother and absentee father. Um, Growing up in the hood, you know, you either learn how to swim and fight, or you get swallowed the fuck up and spit out. Many people don't make it from the hood because your mind is shrunk, and you don't really know the opportunities that's out there for you and the things that you can achieve if you stay in that type of environment. So my mom was a crackhead, and she wasn't on crack when she had me, but she was a crackhead when I was young. But my mom was the functioning type crackhead. She was also alcoholic, but not abusive to me or anything. She actually put a pot of gold in me, which was she loved me and she was available to me and emotionally available to me. And she taught me many lessons. She's illiterate, so that's why I read so much, because I compensated from all the things that she went through and how people got over on her and how limited her life was. You know, when I was young, she used to always tell me that her and my grandma was illiterate. My grandma was an alcoholic too. She would always tell me that if I didn't want to live the life that she did and have the hardships that she has and have the opportunities that I want and achieve the things that I want to achieve, that I'm going to need to educate myself and to not make the same mistakes that she's made throughout her life. And I took that to heart because at that point, I knew that it was on me to get myself out of this situation. That if I didn't want to live the life that she lived and go through the shit that she went through, I got to do something. So when I was young, I always had a knack for like remote control cars and shit, Hot Wheels and Tonka trucks, and it just lit me up. And I stuck with that throughout my life. And I'm a big motorhead. That has determined my whole life. I don't even know what I would be or do without having those that 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 hobby and that passion for cars, because it has allowed me to purchase our home and work on our home, fix my own cars, build my cars. It really helped me become self-reliant because that skill, it transitions to many other things. My mom supported that by buying me remote control cars, Hot Wheels, Tonka trucks. My dad, when he would be in our life, in my life, he would he would take me to, like, you know, go see the monster trucks and stuff like that. So they fanned my flame to help me become a mechanic. I remember my mom, uh, she gave me $200 towards my first car, which was a '85 Nissan 300Z, and I'm gonna put a picture up of it. That was my baby. That was my baby. But I had to put the other 300 to it, and I ended up purchasing the car for $500 from a guy that let me make payments on it, and I would make like $100 like a month or every month and a half. Because here I am. I bought it when I was 15 years old. Here I am, this guy that, you know, working at Wendy's and cutting grass and shit to earn money. So I knew that it was on me to better myself to get out of that situation. I started reading at 22 because my wife was on me. She was on me for a while. My wife is college educated. I just have a high school diploma. And other than that, I'm self-taught and self-learned. Um, my wife was on me, like, you should read, you should read. And I'm like, reading is for bookworms. I said, what the fuck? That shit is for bookworm. And she's like, no, it's not. Reading is so much more than that. I'm like, no, it's not. So she ended up buying me a gift card at a bookstore. And I had that gift card for probably about a year or so. And one day she found it and she's like, we're going to use this gift card. She put it in her purse and she's like, you're going to go. And we end up going to the bookstore. And I kicked and screamed going in there like, what the hell? I ain't going. What am I going to get from that? She said, just go. Just go. So I go in there and at that point, I didn't have no interest in like physical books. So I started with magazines, like car magazines and stuff. And I would always get like Turbo and Super Street and Import Tuner. And I did that for a while. And then I slowly transitioned to Black history because I wanted to know the truth about our history here in America. I wanted to know about as much of my ancestors as I could and know, the truth about the slave trade, the truth about slavery, about civil rights and human rights and the things that we went through as a race and the things that we currently still go through as a race. But from there, I started transitioning to self-help, self-development. And the reason that I started transitioning to self-help and self-development is because one night, my wife and I, we were going to the movie theater and it was raining that night. And we end up going down now mind you, I'm 22 years old at this time. We go down this one street in the city. Sometimes you have streets that are for two cars, but one car is parked on either side. It becomes like a one car at a time type thing. And this was a pretty long street. It was raining. It was dark. It's hard to see the lines and shit like that. But I end up going. There was an accident too that diverted us around. So I end up going like maybe three-quarters down the way down the street, and a car turned in. And typically, when you are further like down, further than half, then you should be the one to back up. That's like courtesy. So I'm sitting there for a while, and it felt like 5 minutes to me. In reality, it was maybe a minute, 2 minutes, or something like that. But I'm sitting there, and me and this guy were looking at each other, and I'm kind of like, What is he going to do, or whatever?" And I beeped the horn, and he ain't doing nothing. He's just sitting there. So finally, I had to back all the way up on this street that was hard to see and cars on either side, raining heavy. And at that time, I had ego, like I said. I still got an ego, but it's busy working and trying to help y'all learn these lessons instead of forcing it on people. And we'll get all into that too. But I'm backing up and it's hard. So I'm taking a while. And finally, I find an opening to pull into. And I pull into this opening, and as he was coming down or coming by me, I rolled the window down and I said, "Fuck you." He said, "Fuck you," and I said, "Fuck you." And he pulled over, and he drove down a little bit, and then pulled over like he wanted some smoke. So I was about to get out the door, and I'm pissed at the time, and I was gonna get out the door, and um, my wife grabbed my arm and she said, "You crazy?" I said, "What you mean?" He said, "Fuck me." So it's going to be something. She said, "He's waiting for you." She said, "If somebody's waiting for you, they most likely got an advantage for something waiting for you. You're going to go out there and you're going to get killed." And I thought about it for a second and I'm like, damn, she right. She right. And that's when I realized I have a problem. I had a problem with my ego. I needed to work on my ego. And we'll get into how I started working on my ego. It took a lot of work, a lot of years. That was when I was 22. I'm 40 years old now. So I've been reading a shitload over these 18 years and learned a lot of lessons. I am self-aware. I discovered I was self-aware. Well, I discovered there's a word for it. Um, Probably in my 20s, like late, like mid to late 20s. I think I discovered there was a word for it. But if I can describe self awareness to you, it is like the feeling of always being watched and knowing that it's up to you. You know, ain't nobody coming to save you. That's up to you to. You're responsible for yourself and your actions, and up to you to do the things you need to do to get through this life as best you can. That it's you have to do what the fuck you can do. Like you take some days off and you can rest, but you got to do what you can do. So you feel like you're always being watched, and I'm aware of my things that's going on inside my like my body deeply in my mind. Like I'm aware of my thoughts. So I discovered that in my mid to late 20s, and you know I am who I am. But I'll try to teach you as much as I can about self awareness, just from my personal experiences and through other people, because I've been really, really blessed to be self aware. Um, we'll talk more about me working on my ego, self awareness, cars, because I love them. And this is embrace your weird, because we live in an age nowadays where everybody wants to be like everybody else. That's where you die. When you herd up and you're just another sheep, you may think it's safe. You may think it's funny. You may think it's cool, but it's not. You're dying. But now everybody wants to be like everybody else, dress like everybody else, live like everybody else, watch what everybody else watch, and you're done, man. You're gonna be unhappy, die full of fucking regret. So the next episode we're gonna talk about is probably death. Because when you understand that you're gonna die, and you know you're gonna die, if you come close to dying, then you know your ass better live. Because this is all you got. So I've had my share of experiences with death. And we'll get into all of that. Embrace your fucking weird.